Good afternoon to you. Welcome to 420 Central TV. My name is Rory and we've got a lacquer show for you again. This week we close out on the Green Cup. We went down and spent some time at the Green Cup and we got to chat with a good couple of people, and I'll roll you in on the other side of this. The time at the moment is, of course, just in case you were wondering.
Yes. Greetings, Czech people, good nation of South Africa, cannabis community. My name is Ras Warren Yeleman.
Hi, this is Sister V, and you're watching 420 Central.
TV, quickbuyngrow. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Brett, and you're watching 420 Central TV. We love what you're doing.
I'm Bobby Greenash, and you're watching 420 Central TV.
Welcome back. So for me, one of the highlights was I got invited to be part of a panel discussion. And it was lacquer because there were so many really interesting people to meet, and we managed to catch up with a few of them in and between what was happening on the day. So we did a couple of talks to people like Tony Kirby, Jaron, Brett Pollack, Marlene, Simon Strainhunter, and Sis V and Tombela. Check this out.
I run Quid and Crafts. Quid and Crafts is a community-based cannabis craft organization which supports local growers with genetic skills, funding, and basic knowledge and understanding of growing good dank. And then we progress from there into basic knowledge of how to do cuttings, how to grow good cannabis dry, cure, extract. Extraction has been one of our priorities more recently, and I think that's where we're upping our game as Quid and Crafts and the collective. We're all about supporting local, supporting local brands, local genetics, one of them being Knuckle Genetics, also Black Flag Genetics. So a lot of, we're a local brand and we encourage people to support local.
Just a couple of words. I feel like I've been welcomed with very open arms. It's been an amazing experience. I really have appreciated that there's real cannabis culture still left here. As in the U.S., some of the activism, some of the culture, some of that has been lost a bit. So to come here and feel it again has really filled my cup.
It's great to be here, guys. I love coming to this part of the world that's lacquer.
If we have done so much in the 6 years since 2018, I just feel like in 2 years' time we are going to be more free than we are today.
So as much as it's an exposure, we're restricted in selling our stuff. Guys, why are you selling 3 Rand dankies when you could be selling 30,000 Rand kilos?
I believe that there is a very important space in South Africa for clubs. If you look at like markets, for example, like in the United States, in Canada, who we're supposed to so-called look up to in many ways, they don't have our consumption culture. They've got their retail shops, like the fucking shoe shop that you walk into and buy your product, but where's the shared kind of culture around cannabis? And so I think what I'm saying is ultimately I believe that there's a beautiful space for clubs in South Africa if it's done in the right bona fide way. Right now, nothing is legal per se. No one can give you a bulletproof model that something is legal. But there is a way for people to exercise their constitutional human rights in collectives.
I'll be honest, you don't want to follow the U.S. on the legal side, okay? And by that I mean our legislation and how we're doing it. We've got 50 states and a republic. 38 in some form or another have legalized cannabis. Yet our federal government, for whatever reason, has chosen to keep it as a Schedule I drug. As a Schedule I drug, what a lot of people don't understand is, if I put a kilo of heroin on this table and I put a kilo of pot, if the judge wants, I'm going to get a stiffer sentence for that kilo of pot. Period. According to the U.S. government, marijuana has no medical or redeeming value. Yet 38 of the states have said, you're wrong.
We're in a position where there's a document on the president's desk at the moment. Sign, don't sign.
Yeah, that seems to be a great topic of debate at the moment. And it's interesting because, you know, I see it almost like I'm getting my ice cream, but it's not the flavor that I want.
Kind of like Fields of Green always mentioned, clubs as a site of harm reduction, of educated, safe adult use, right, which is non-commercial. It's run through a non-commercial, non-profit model where people come together, right, and share and pool resources kind of thing in the bona fide manner. And what I'm saying is that if you look at, instead of looking at, you know, jurisdictions like the United States and Canada, for example, where they've kind of leapfrogged over the whole beautiful thing, which is shared culture and consumption culture. It's just, you know, instant gratification of going to the shop. They're lacking that. But if you look at countries maybe like Germany, doing interesting things, in my opinion, they've taken this approach, which is like a two-pillar approach to commercial adult use of cannabis. And the first pillar of that is brilliant. The second pillar is full-scale adult use commercialization, right? But the first pillar looks very much like clubs, right? Non-profit, quite similar to what we, when I say we, is Marlene and I as Harambe Solutions think and believe in a model essentially that has some sort of chance of being argued for positively in court. And what Germany is doing is essentially legislating something like that, something that looks maybe a lot like, for example, what the Canna Club have set up in Klet, where basically you're trialing out adult use on a non-commercial scale, essentially through non-profit establishments. We won't go into details, but the point is they're going to understand from that process, they're going to have an amazing body of research to understand consumption cultures, cannabis potential harms, education, like craft culture, how cannabis culture comes together. And on the basis of that amazing research, which they won't just rush, they'll have a beautiful club kind of culture in Germany first. And on top of that, with all of that information, because now it's government regulated that space, the government will collect all that amazing data and be able to then actually build a proper, robust adult commercial framework in its second pillar, right, which actually understands the plant and how it's consumed, in that case in Germany.
Do you think that there's an opportunity for you in South Africa as a product?
100%, of course, because you have people that are interested in learning, you have people that are curious, you have people that want to learn more. You know, you don't have a model where everybody's trying to tell you this is exactly how it happens. You know, and I think the Africa model of let us figure it out is like really, really appreciated. You know, it's you know, the differences in the U.S. and the way our culture works and everything else is very shallow compared to the way you guys and work with relationships and cultures and things. They're very deep-seated, so it's a lot to work through. It's a lot to navigate.
You know, this event is growing strength to strength. A lot of people are seeing the benefit in terms of the connection and the networking, as well as the links that you can get from attending these events. It's very important for us to also network, to gain perspective and experience from each other, and that's how we grow as a community. And you know, we're all about different opinions. We might be pushing and pulling in different directions in terms of cannabis policy, but we must also always understand our true north of cannabis, and that is the human right to use cannabis. That should be inherently protected, and that is what I push as not only in my personal view, but also in the view of my organization.
I think a lot of the speakers and people like Paul Michael have written a beautiful article for the Daily Maverick. And they make a valid point, right? That the bill is going to remove cannabis from the Drug and Drug Trafficking Act, which means it will no longer be an illegal substance, which, yes, has a beautiful, beautiful knock-on effect for a whole lot of parts in the industry. I think what's disappointing a lot of people about the bill is the fact that the trade is not going to be allowed. But I think we just need to remind people, and Ricky and Amy actually did that today in their talks, to say that there was never going to be trade. The bill is the follow-up of the privacy judgment. So there was never supposed to be trade in the bill. So people that are disappointed, like, yes, you're disappointed because this is taking so long. It takes long to make laws. So I think I have to, like, as much as it actually grieves me to say it, okay, I think I have to agree the president needs to sign the bill.
There you heard it, sign it. You need it signed. And I mean, just to give a little bit to that is, the time frame that you talk about is being ridiculous.
Yes.
Would it be in wanting to advance the industry? I agree with you. To have something in place that allows those of us to have a vested interest and a continue investing in that, to be able to have a starting point. It's these people that we're interacting with that actually have a know-how on where to take the industry to and where we should go to from here. And the government are missing out on that involvement by not giving a start point and a yes. So you heard it. Sign it is the right thing to do, and we can get going from there.
The bill itself is harmful, and it's making me, yes, I understand the agency, I understand that a lot of amazing things can happen, but at the same time, amazing things are happening now. It's a very, very loose interpretation of the law that we have. Look at it, look at your clubs, look at all of the stuff that's happening. When things become very, very prescribed, we might also enter into a place of more enforcement. Yeah, so I'm on the ball thing, and the jury really is out for me personally, and I'm going to be taking my lead from Heritage Farm about that. But I do think we need to, it's not just, hey, let's just be happy, this is not the perfect goal. No, we've fought long and hard for it, and people shouldn't go to jail for 10 years, 5 years around Canada.
I think those are valuable, but I still I think Lee will give us some really the things that are not you highlight properly, but it's those will be what next goes to court, or for there being at least a significant. I mean, unfortunately there's things that are not about the cannabis industry, they're about the political industry. You know, it's on a table. There's a strong possibility that political things could happen. You need to start the way of getting something signed and then address it about what change there are, rather than you have a change in government and the whole thing goes back to square one. So it's really a catch-22 situation. So for me, just to have something that says these are the new rules, whether they suit or not, as you say, they're over the top in terms of what sentences are. They're not less important, but getting a start point for all of us in a radio is So firstly, a really, really big thank you to the organisers for what I think is an amazing venue. I think that you'll battle to get a better setting than that. To those of you that came along and supported, thank you very much for being there. We most certainly enjoyed ourselves and have penciled it in the diary for next year. And then just to some of the comments and some of the people we interviewed, some nice footage there from Brett giving a perspective on clubs and club models into the future. a little bit of information coming from Jaren and from Tony Kirby from an international perspective, giving a little bit of a view on our own market. By the way, we've got extended interviews with both of those gentlemen that will drop out a little bit later. And then chatting to Marlene and Simon Strainhunter, and an interesting space that, because Marlene has done quite a lot of work in the club area with Brett, Harambe Solutions, and they're doing some very good work with the Pondoland growers, and perhaps we'll get to talk to Marlene a little bit more about that in the future, but some good work being done there. And I think that's about it for this week. So we'll catch you on the other side. Very big thanks to everybody that attended. And we've got some interesting stuff next week. The decision on the bill, the sign, don't sign part of whether we should or shouldn't be signing the bill, and whether there's a good reason for each of those perspectives. There is. People want to have the bill go one way because it's not considering some people, and other people want to just see something signed so we can move along. So we'll delve into that a little bit more. But thank you for joining us. I hope you've got enough cannabis to see you through the weekend. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch you next week, Friday. Ciao for now. And don't forget that this episode is brought to you by High Street. Thank you to all the affiliates, the members that we have, everybody that's supporting us on this journey. Much gratitude to you. Stay with us.